can see that. I just want to do this without, don't do this in the hospital. I just don't want it to start alarming. All right, don't look at the alarms. All right, I just don't want it to be alarming so much. All right, so basically you're gonna come in, you're gonna be on your settings. So we have a setting of 35% FiO2, peak of 5, respiratory rates 10, tidal volume is 350. We actually did all of our assessment, all our monitoring from our scan in the chart, patient, ECG, ventilator. We got our plateaus, our compliance, our resistance. We did everything in monitoring. Everybody's good to that point? We did our alarms. We did the backup apnea. All that stuff is done. Initial stuff is done. So what am I going to do? So what would you do next? You would start to wean, right? So how would y'all start to wean? Go back to your modes. So volume control. Where would you go?
Click volume control.
Click that again. And then here it says, so y'all can see it, it says volume control, pressure control. Well, that's not it. PRVC, that's not it. Pressure support CPAP, not yet. That's the one that we're gonna go to last. SIMV volume control, in parentheses, plus pressure support, or SIMV pressure control plus pressure support. You could do either one, but I went from AC-VC, so I'm gonna do SIV-VC, all right? And then of course this was PRVC, and that was bivent. All right, that's kind of like bi-level, all right? So I'm going to choose SIV, volume control, volume plus pressure support. All right, choose the right one, because if y'all come to finals, oral finals, and y'all don't pay attention because y'all not reading the modes, it can really trick you up because there's 3 different SIVs on this one. So choose the right one. If not, your whole entire check off that on SIV on weaning, the whole thing is going to be wrong. All right, and we will mark it wrong. Please read. All right, so this one actually does not highlight yellow. All right, it does not highlight in yellow, tell you what you basically need. So let's start with tidal volume. So you still have the same tidal volume. Your rate, you know, we were on a rate of 10, tidal volume was 350, your PEEP is there, your FiO2 is there, right? Top to bottom, left to right. So you got an IA ratio on here. We don't worry about pause or inspiratory, rise time, or breath cycle. So these 3 you don't have to worry about, okay? Your flow, what do we usually have that at? I forgot to adjust that. That's usually around 3, right? And you don't have to worry about your percentages. So these percentages you don't have to worry about. But now this is pressure support above PEEP. So this was for pressure support. So Ms. Temple said she starts out at 10. We're gonna start out at 5 right here because again, when you get, your patient is gonna get tachypnic and tachycardic and hypoxemic. You're going to have some distress from going over to SIV. I'll tell you that right now. So what are you going to do? You're going to make that decision go up. So I just want to give you some room to play. All right, so y'all like that? Top volume 350, 10, 5, 35%, triggers 3, IA ratio, and then your pressure support.
This one is pressure support over PEEP, so it would be 10 over 5. So that would
10,
be 10.
So it is 10
Your
pressure support
would
over
be
your
10,
5.
PEEP would
From
be
your
5 on this
baseline.
one.
From your baseline. So you actually are getting
But the
that.
servos,
So
that's how they read them.
Yeah.
I think the Hamiltons read it
so you
like
are
that.
actually are giving them 10 on this one.
But see, like this one does not say that, but this one does.
Yeah.
So this one's true, whatever number you put in on the
That's what you
980
truly get.
is what you get. This
So
one
y'all
they
know
add
how you
to.
have your baseline 0. And then when you add PEEP of 5, so when you add PEEP of 5, you go up to baseline of 5. So this one's saying pressure support is going to be 5 on top of that. So 5 of PEEP plus 5 of pressure support, so you're actually getting a total of 10. So, but we're going to wean it from here or add more. So you're still going to set it at 5, but just know that you're truly getting 10 on this bit. That is true. Everybody's good with that? Everybody understands the pressure support above PEEP? Okay. All right. That's pretty much the biggest things on that. You would just do the same thing again. When we change it, we're going to wean down what? The rate? So go to 8, go to 6, go to 4, whatever you want. So I wean down the rate. My FiO2 is going down, right? So I've been weaning. My PEEP, I'm going to wean that too. So it's kind of going down a little bit, even on pressure support too, right? So because it's above PEEP. So I'm going to do my weaning throughout, you know, the next day or 2 or whatever, right? So then as I start weaning down my SIV, what's my next step if everything's still looking good from all my assessment. I did my plateau, compliance, I did everything, monitored everything, patient, ECG. I'm weaning down, everything looks good, my rate's low.
Alarms?
Well, I adjusted my alarms, I've documented, I've made ABGs, I've done those 30 minutes to an hour after every change, so I've done all that throughout the next 2 days. So now I want to keep going, and my next third mode is what? Pressure support CPAP on here. The other one says spontaneous. So pressure support CPAP. So again, you've got your pressure support above PEEP, so I can, what did I end up with, 5 still? So I got 3 of PEEP, your FiO2. Don't worry about your percentages and your triggers at 3. So this is a backup ventilation. So you can do like a backup. So pressure, if they go into pressure control, this one's actually doing a pressure control backup above PEEP, a respiratory rate, and an IA ratio. We don't worry about that unless we want something different. So don't worry about your backup ventilation, but that's your backup apnea if you wanted to set it. You can set something different. So you can always change that to something else. So everybody's okay with this though? Your settings for CPAP, pressure support? Once I go into it and I accept it, the only difference here, once you start accepting it, what you're gonna do, adjust your alarms, do all your assessment, all your monitoring, 30 minutes to an hour, get your ABG, right? After that, when you're monitoring, I think it's the 3rd page. You actually have, it says that RSBI, it says SBI. So that's your spontaneous breathing index. So it's your rapid shallow breathing index is actually SBI for spontaneous breathing index. So that one actually I think is a different, I want to say it's a different one, but you can still see your, Michael, come on this side over here and breathe for me. I want to see if it's the same one. Take a really good deep breath. Let's see, wait a minute. Now. Okay, there it goes. Where do I want it under?
105.
105. So this one actually is reading 28 to 35. So that's pretty good, right? So once I get an RSBI, I can do what else? An MIP, a vital capacity. I may have to do the manometers and the respirometers with that to disconnect them and get those. But I got all my values for my PIP and everything on my pages. It's just that last page is your SBI. All right, and I want that to be less than 105. So this one actually gives it to me. That one, we gotta find it, I guess. It was on the 840. I don't know where it's at on the 980. But I'll have to breathe for you like Michael's breathing to give y'all some good numbers. And we never did find the thing for this one, did we? The connector for the bigger tube. I'm gonna have to just probably tell y'all what some numbers look like over here to make them good, so y'all kind of know what to look for. Just make sure you read every single thing, top to bottom, left to right. Right? All your settings, read them. All your monitoring, read it. Know your parameters that you're gonna check. Once everything looks good after spontaneous, got your spontaneous tidal volumes at least what? What's your spontaneous tidal volume should be?
3.
That you should be measuring.
3.
So over 300, so 300 to 350 on spontaneous volumes. Your respiratory rate is normal range. You've got your vital capacity, you've got your MIP, you've got your RSBI, you have your PIP, you've got your FiO2's low, your secretions are minimal, your sedations are low, there's no paralytics. I mean, all that, the list goes on, right? So once everything looks good, your patient's not diaphoretic or don't have any worker breathing problems, low pressure support, low PEEP, I can go and extubate. Right? So I think you guys are probably familiar with events enough to know how to do mode changes and what settings to do. So there are some percentages in your settings that you don't have to worry about. So if it's really like a percent or something, like breath cycle percent or inspiratory rise percent, you don't have to worry about adjusting those. You can as you go through like different scenarios, but for initial setups, we're not gonna have you to. What y'all got?
We good?